As a first affirmative, I will be debating that the U.S. should substantially reduce the funding of nuclear weapons research. A little background on the nuclear spending. According to the article, Bury the Bomb Before It Buries Us by Jack A. Smith, the United States has about 8,000 nuclear warheads, with only 2,100 of them being active. So the rest of the 5,900 are just taking up space. They're redundant, they don't work. However, the current White House administration doesn't feel this is enough. The administration plans to pass legislation allowing for another $355 billion to be spent on the production of nuclear weapons. The main purpose for this is to compete with other nuclear powers of the world, such as Russia, China, Britain, and France. Russia happens to be the second nuclear power with the same amount of warheads, but only 1,600 of them are actually active and able to work. My partner and I will be arguing that the funding taken from the reduction of nuclear programs can be funneled into military programs in more need of the finances, such as aid for military families, veterans benefits, military schooling, etc. We will also be arguing that all this excess funding put forth into nuclear programs does not make the U.S. any safer of a country, and the extra $355 billion the White House wishes to spend in the next 10 years on nuclear programs is extremely unnecessary. So the the reduction made in the nuclear research spending would allow the money to be funneled into other military programs. Now this is just an example. This isn't supposed to be the entire speech, but the Veteran Benefits Program. These benefits include hospital and medical care, housing, education, training, and rehabilitation if any of them are injured. Currently, the government spends only 4% of the total military budget on veterans each year. This is roughly $2.44 billion. Now, some of you might say that's a lot of money to spend on these veterans, but compared to the it's not a lot of money, but compared to the $610 billion that's spent in military each year, that number only represents the amount officially reported by the government too. According to Jasmine Tucker, a writer on military security for nationalpriorities.org, that was according to her. And according to greendoors.org, 17% of the U.S. The U.S. homeless population are veterans. That's roughly 76,000 men and women who served their country now living in the streets. Along with that, an estimated 1.5 million veterans are at risk of being homeless each year. And at risk means that these people live below the poverty level and pay more than 50% of their paycheck on income alone. Other military programs, such as ones set up to assist families the most, are also in need of financial stability. According to Wendy Innes, a published article writer for Independent Voter Network, an amendment made to the appropriations bill would force cuts to be made in other areas, and these other areas include programs that help military members and their families, and they depend on it. The affected programs are the ones that pay for the fuel for the ships, the planes, and they provide the food. They provide food in the chow halls for the families and the military personnel. Second, this excess funding provided to the nuclear programs does not ensure a safer nation. The U.S. has the most warheads than any other nation by far, with 2,100 active warheads. America has no reason to feel as if they are not the top dogs anymore. Russia follows with 1,600 active nuclear warheads, so unless they decide to increase their spending, they're not raising that amount. According to Jack A. Smith, author of Bury the Bomb Before It Buries Us, just one nuclear weapon is a terror. So even if the US, France, England, and China all had one nuclear warhead each, America's safety is still in jeopardy. Now, yes, maybe having the most amounts of warheads of all nations ensures that the US is less likely to be messed with, but the US does not really need more than an excess of 500 warheads, or they don't need 500 more warheads in the next leading country. Lastly, the extra $355 billion the White House wishes to spend in the next 10 years on nuclear programs is extremely unnecessary. A new analysis of nuclear security spending published by Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government states that the administration's 2015 budget reduces funding for the Energy Department's nuclear programs by $399 million, while then increasing the funding for nuclear programs research by $655 million. So they're taking it out of something that needs the funding more, such as nuclear energy, and putting it into something that isn't necessary. For the fiscal year 2014, Congress approved a $1.95 billion plan for National Security Administration to spend on programs. The White House fiscal 2015 budget proposed a 20% reduction. The White House administration also deems it necessary to want to spend the money on the construction of new long-range bombers that are unnecessary and not needed, because the ones we have now are currently effective. And they're projected to cost about $550 million each, and they're planning to build about 80 to 100 new of those. And if that's not enough, 12 new ballistic missile subs are in works of being funded for. And to top this all off, the NNSA wants a new headquarters facility estimated to cost $7 million. This facility is for research and production and manufacturing of nuclear weapons. And the size of this facility is going to be double the size of the Pentagon building. So that $700 million doesn't need to be there. There's also a New START treaty in place that is supposed to cut both the U.S. and Russia's nuclear weapons within 10 years, and that started in 2011. And as of right now, the only country that has put effort into reducing their nuclear arsenal is Russia. So they're the only ones abiding by this treaty. So with the necessary reduction in nuclear research spending, the funding taken from the reduction of nuclear programs can be funneled into other military programs, such as the Veterans Program that I talked about. This proves the excess funding provided to the nuclear programs does not ensure a safer nation, and the extra $355 billion the White House wishes to spend in research in the next 10 years is also unnecessary.